When you see a smartphone available on the home shopping network for only $99, you might think it's probably going to fall apart after a month or it's really slow and crashy, unless it's a Nokia Windows Phone. This is Adam Lane from Pocketnow, and this is our review of the Nokia Lumia 521 for T-Mobile. Let's check it out. The Lumia 521 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 dual-core processor running at 1 GHz with 512 megs of RAM and 8 gigs of internal storage. That's not very much, so you have to pay attention to what apps you install. Fortunately, there is a microSD card slot that will allow you to add up to 64 gigs of extra storage for music, videos, and photos. The 512 megs of RAM is also a bit limiting, as there are certain apps that you won't be able to install. These include many high-end games as well as Zinio's magazine reader for some reason. The phone size is 4.9 by 2.8 by 0.4 inches and weighs only 4.4 ounces. The 4-inch WVGA screen seems small by today's standards, but that's a good thing for one-handed usage. In fact, the Lumia 521 is very well designed when it comes to one-handed ergonomics. The thickness and shape make the phone much more comfortable to hold than the extra large, extra thin devices that are so popular. You can actually hold and use the Lumia 521 comfortably, and that's very refreshing to see. By the way, if you get the Home Shopping Network's bundle for this phone, you get a ton of extra stuff with it. You get a cheap rubbery case, crappy matching headphones, and even an extra car charger. It's actually quite an impressive deal. Now let's look at the hardware. At the top, you've got the handset speaker along with some sensors. There is no front-facing camera, but Skype will still work. You just have to point the rear camera into a bathroom mirror. Then you've got a 4-inch WVGA screen, which isn't very impressive. Outdoor visibility suffers a bit too, but it is still usable with gloves on. At the bottom are the usual Windows Phone capacitive buttons for search, start screen, and back. On the right side, there's a series of plastic buttons protruding from the edge for activating the camera, power, and volume up or down. The buttons are easy to find with your fingers, and they've got great tactile feedback. On the bottom, there's the micro USB port. On the top is the 3.5mm headset jack. On the back is the 5-megapixel camera and speaker hole. There is no flash, so you'll only want to use the camera outdoors with a good amount of light. Now let's talk about the software. Most of our Windows Phone 8 coverage can already be found in our full Windows Phone 8 review. That's where you'll get the most meat about the software on the Nokia Lumia 521. However, we'll look at a few highlights from both Nokia and T-Mobile here. I already mentioned how the RAM limitation may cause certain Windows Phone 8 apps to be incompatible with the Lumia 521, but there are also some interesting limitations to some of the Nokia apps. For example, the augmented reality view in Nokia's Here Maps app is not available, nor is City Lens, and the augmented reality feature in the included Weather Channel app does not work. The phone does include Nokia's Here Drive free GPS navigation program though. The bad news is that the license only includes maps for the USA, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. You have to pay extra for other countries, but still, the United States is pretty big. You need to have a T-Mobile US SIM card in the phone in order for Here Drive to work, but it does not require an active rate plan to function. Another feature that's probably worth the cost of the phone itself is the Nokia Music app. You can download up to 4 custom radio mixes for listening to offline. Then when you get tired of those, you can delete them and download 4 more. It's unlimited offline music. The catch is you can't rewind any songs. You have to listen to the whole playlist, though you can skip about 6 per hour. Still, that's free music with no data plan. The only T-Mobile customization that's really worth mentioning is the Wi-Fi calling feature. It's a little unreliable though, so I would only turn this on when absolutely necessary. Next, let's look at the camera. We've already mentioned the 5-megapixel camera with no flash, and you would probably expect it to be pretty horrible. Actually, I've always found those little LED flashes often included on phones to be pretty horrible themselves. Not having a flash on this phone forces you to only take pictures in decent lighting conditions, and if you pay more attention to existing light, you can actually get some great pictures with this camera. Most of Nokia's special camera apps are included as well. You've got Smart Cam, Panorama, Cinegraph, and the Creative Studio for post-processing. This isn't anything like the high-end Lumia 1020 that's 7 times the price and 10 times the resolution though. In terms of battery life, the Lumia 521 does quite well with average use. It's certainly enough for a day, and the device doesn't have any terribly power-hungry features like a high-resolution screen or image stabilization. The key thing here is that the Lumia 521 has a removable BL5J battery, which is pretty common in older Nokia phones. You can get another one for about $4 and swap it whenever you want. Our final rating is going to be a 7 out of 10. While there are a lot of limitations and areas that are lacking with the Lumia 521, the big draw for it is its pricing. Given the crazy low price, there's a huge amount of value included with the phone, and it's still fast, stable, and easy to use. In some ways, it's actually better than some high-end phones. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.